from entrepreneurial experience, I will say, now that I'm older and I look back at some of the things that I was really, really proud of when I was younger, I also look at the timing of the market now, and yeah, that was the total thing I did at the right time. And
in retrospect.
And had done it 6 months later or earlier, it wouldn't have gone.
I'll give you a good example in esports. I made an early bet at UMG Gaming and put, now $10 million we put behind that company, and we grew it from a few $1,000,000 to $100 million in two and a half years.
Oh, what were you doing all the time?
Well, what we were doing, yeah, what was I doing? But I'll tell you, I've looked at about a dozen other peer-to-peer companies. At the same time I was looking at UMG, there were 10 others. And you know what? A couple of them I'm buying into UMG, but the others failed. Why did UMG succeed and they fail? Well, the reason, and it was one of the reasons I went with UMG, the reason was those others had more money, had more money. But UMG had been driving around from town to town in their bus, setting up esports tournaments for Call of Duty. They had the people with them. They had the fans with them. The people were rooting for them to succeed. And so this is something that made the difference at the end of the day. Now I go around Europe because we want to expand what we're doing in USA and Europe. And same thing I'm seeing, lots of companies who raise money, whether it be in Sweden or whether it be in Austria, dozens and dozens. But then I look at it and I say, you know what, there's 200 companies in Europe doing the same exact thing you're doing. Each of them raised $1 million here or $1 million there. There's no way all of you are going to succeed. So this is what the challenge is now in terms of growing the peer-to-peer space anyway in esports.
I think I found in esports, it's directly proportional. The more money that someone has to complete a project with, the less proud they are of the work that they do. They just put less of themselves into it. And this is an industry that's driven by passion. That is the fuel.
Look, fair enough. You're either extremely in the bootstrapping mode where you're afraid to spend any money, or you're on the other extreme, which is you're not spending money efficiently, and there seems to never be enough money. This is an issue. I don't think there's a shortage of capital chasing esports. It's the hottest area that I can think of today for investment. So it's not that there's a shortage of money, but I would say there are so many people pursuing different aspects. And I would say that the general experience level of those folks, since they're coming from the gaming world, is pretty low. And so this is what gives investors the biggest pause, which is if I give them the money, will they know what to do with it? And can I really counsel them? Because I don't know.
It's funny because I actually think you're coming into esports at an interesting time where the first 2 generations of drunks that were there when the whole thing started and was just, what's happening, and just got carried with it, either made it big or they're completely gone now. Yeah. There's very few, last people standing now if they were really good at standing there.
And that's an excellent point, and I'll tell you what I think esports, one of the weaknesses in the culture, and I experienced this, which is I have a lot of people who are happy that I've taken such an interest. I'm an outsider. I've put my money where my mouth is, so I actually do what I say. But there are detractors. There are people who wish you to fail. There are people who gossip and badmouth. This is part of the culture. Obviously, I think that part of the culture really needs to change if esports is going to mature as an industry. This I think.
I mean, we're talking about an industry that, you can hardly even call yourself a veteran. It's not old enough that you can have that status yet, right? Sure. So it also means it's a small amount of people that slowly got bigger and bigger over, a period of a decade, and then one more decade before, it actually happens. So everyone knows each other, and there's someone probably a little too close and a little too much drama and gossip. Yeah. On the other hand, right now, like the industry is expanding at a rate of around 50% every 2 years, I think it is, which is crazy, right? Like it means that, for instance, like I was in SteelSeries, I left the company in 2013. 2 years later, 25% of the market would have knowledge of them. 75% of the market that had come in since then had no idea who they were unless they had continuously done something in marketing. I know that because they didn't, and something happened to that. That's how fast things move, right? We're talking about change is constant. Here in esports, it's been accelerating for the last 10 years.
Well, and the biggest development that's going to occur that I think people are prepared for is moving beyond the endemics, the brands we know, to the non-endemics, the significant media and other commercial brands.
It's happening to teams now. It happened to other parts of the ecosystem that I was in earlier. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where I think the culture has to be open. I mean, the truth is, the interest that this new resource, the interest they have, is simply to make it even a better product, more exciting, more dynamic. There's no other motivation, in my view. It's the right motivation.
There is one sad thing though. Like, I've traveled, to all these countries and always to interface with the community directly because that's where I came from. And there's always like these leftovers, these people who were instrumental on a local level of doing something, and if not, shit, man, there was like, there was a lot of things that wouldn't have happened for anyone. And and they just somehow didn't catch it, or wasn't employable for some reason, or had something else that they would rather do, but they really missed out on something, and you can feel it. You can feel it in them.
And I meet those people all the time, and they say, "Please get me involved in this," or "Please get me involved in this." And you know what I would say? I would say something hopeful, which is, the truth is, we all have the ability to reinvent ourselves. And I say to them, don't give me the sob story, just reinvent yourself. Get over the past. The past has occurred, you cannot change it. Focus on the future. And the truth is, for those that can get over that, they still have a lot they can contribute. This is my view.
I think it's totally wrong.